My name is Aaliyah, and for this video, I'm gonna talk about the books that I need to finish this month, December, for the end of the year. I have a pretty large list because I tend to read a lot of books at the same time. I could never just read one book at a time. That's just not how my brain works. I need to have multiple things to move between, but then I also tend to get in the trap of starting. I love to start books, but then I am not great at finishing, so I'll always end up in the middle of a bunch of different books. So currently, I know I have more than 10 books that I want to try and finish. I'm definitely not going to finish all of them. I'm trying not to pressure myself too much, and I will just finish what I finish. Some things are audiobooks, some are ebooks from the library, and a fair amount are actual physical books. So I'm just going to be popping up little pictures of the covers. I'm not going to be showing any of the physical books, but I'm going to go through what I want to try and finish. And I don't know if I'm really going to give descriptions or not, because I feel like that'll make the video too long. I might try and just keep it short descriptions. So the first book is a new one that I started recently last month during Nonfiction November. I started reading The World of Lore, Monstrous Creatures, which is from the podcast Lore. The host and writer of that, Aaron Mahnke, he wrote 3 different books many years ago. I think this might come out in like 2017 or something. I bought the first one around the time it came out. I've just never read it, so I've started that. And then I have Venus in the Blind Spot, which is a Junji Ito book that I picked up recently from a used bookstore, and so I was really happy to come upon that. And it's, I think, only my second of his books that I actually own. Most of them I've read through the library, and I'm on the first story in there. I believe it's the first story I'm on. Yeah, I'm on the first story. It's a collection of multiple stories, so I'm gonna try and finish that. And then Dead Company Volume 3, which is also a manga. I think it would also be described probably as horror. I'd never heard of it before, but I just kind of stumbled upon it on Hoopla, which is connected to the library, and I read volumes 1 and 2. I think I read them in the same day, back to back, and then I got volume 3, and I just haven't finished that one, but I've liked it a lot so far. And then Wave Rider, which is the finale in the Amulet graphic novel series. It's a fantasy, probably like middle grade age group book, and I've enjoyed the series so far. I mean, it's something that I've almost finished, and I'm not great at finishing series. I think that the art is good. The story is pretty interesting. I mean, it's still not like super high for me, but it's at like 3.5, low 4. Like I enjoy it. I think it's good. Gravity Falls Journal 3. So Gravity Falls, I really enjoyed the show. I definitely recommend it. And then there's actually 2 physical books that have come out. Journal 3 is basically like a recreation of the actual journal in the show, and I've read through some of it, but not all of it, because I got kind of caught up in trying to solve all of the symbols and stuff, and I need to just not worry about that and just read through the journal itself, the entries. So I'm going to go back to that. And then I also have the one that came out this year. I think it focuses on Bill, so I have that one, but I haven't really started that one. One Perfect Couple is a thriller, and it's the new Ruth Ware, which I try and read all of her books. She's one of the thriller writers that I like to read everything that she comes out with. And I started it, but I haven't finished it. I like what I've read so far. Counterfeit, I have gotten fairly far in the audiobook. I like the audiobook so far. It's, I guess, a thriller, and I do want to continue that, and it's an audiobook, so I should be able to finish that, but also I have to be in the right mood to do audiobooks. The Girl and the Ghost, that is a Malaysian middle grade story that I really like. I have been reading it through the library and I really need to finish it. It's not very long. It's just taken me forever to finish it, but it is very good. Upgrade is sci-fi, and also it seems to be kind of thriller aspect. It's Blake Crouch, who I really like. He's also kind of like an auto read for me. Small Spaces is middle grade horror, and it's also a reread for me, so I haven't super focused on trying to finish it, but I would like to finish the reread because I know I really enjoyed it when I read it originally, and I don't super remember every detail of it or anything, so I would like to just try and finish it. And then another reread is Lady Killers, which is a nonfiction book about female murderers, which I was reading last month for Nonfiction November. I really liked it when I read it before, and I'm really liking it now, so that is a book that I want to finish the reread. It's not super, top of the list that I need to do, but it's a good book. Next is Night of the Mannequins, which is a novella by Stephen Graham Jones, who I do enjoy. So I've started that and like it so far. I just haven't finished it, and it is something that I should be able to finish very quickly because it's short. I just haven't. Amari and the Night Brothers. I love the world and the story and everything, the characters so far. It's a girl finds out about magic and everything, goes to basically a magic school, magic camp kind of thing. There's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot that has to do with prejudices in our world, but then there's also prejudices in the magical world, and I think it's very well written. I don't know how far I am into it. I've mostly read it through ebook, but I do have the physical book somewhere. I just tend to be better reading stuff digitally. And then next is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, which is a YA romance by Talia Hibbert. And Talia Hibbert is one of my favorite romance authors. I just haven't been reading romance for a while. I haven't felt like it, but I think this is her first YA romance. She normally writes adult, and I got it because I want to read what she writes. And when I started it, which was a while ago, I was really enjoying the two main characters. I believe it is alternating chapters, and how their characters were written and their interactions and everything. And I think I would like it if I got back into it. I don't know if I'm going to finishing it or not. I'm the Girl, which is Courtney Stevenson. So it's good. It's a thriller mystery, but it's also just a really serious, heavy book. So I have to be in the right mood for it. I do own it as an ebook. The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat is also a reread for me. That's by Oliver Sacks, and that's one that I also started rereading for Nonfiction November. Might have been earlier than that, I'm not completely sure. But I know that I like this book, and if I don't finish it, it's okay. I've just wanted to do a reread of it, and if you like hearing interesting stories of neuroscience type cases, it is an older book, so some of the language isn't necessarily the language we would use nowadays, but the way he writes, I really like. I think, yes, some of it's scientific, but also I do think he writes approachable for an everyday person. Then I'm probably going to say the character's name wrong. Sarah Boateng's Guide to Vampire Hunting, which I started a while ago from the library, but I really enjoyed it. It's Rick Riordan Presents, and I love those books. I love learning different cultures' stories and folklore and monsters and all of that. And I don't know how far I got into it, but I know I was really enjoying where the story was going, and it's just one of those that I just kind of need to get back into and finish it. And then my last one is one that I only recently borrowed from the library, and it's very short. It's called A Strange Thing Happened in Cherry Hall. It's an audiobook, and I think it's only like 4 hours. So I just kind of need to set the time aside and finish it, because I've listened to less than an hour. I've listened to a few chapters, but it seems interesting. So that's what I have. I expect I'll get through a few things, but I know I won't finish everything, and that's just reality. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to. Goodbye.